When you picture Texas, what comes to mind? Big hats? Big cities? Maybe the Alamo? Well, forget all that for a minute. Today we're searching for a different side of Texas. A side so strange, so bizarre, you'd swear it was pulled from a movie. But I promise you, these places are real, and we're about to go there. We're counting down the 10 weirdest towns in Texas, places you really have to see to believe. We're talking about a town that actually elected a goat for a mayor, another that lives in the shadow of sacred hills, and one whose very name is a total mystery. These communities seem to defy all logic, but you can visit every single one. Our journey to find the Texas that doesn't feel real starts now. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a place so small it's practically a statement. Luckenbach. Tucked away in the Texas Hill Country, Luckenbach is a genuine legend. And not just because of the Waylon Jennings song that put it on the map. It's known for its official population, which is, famously, just 3 people. Founded by German immigrants in the 1840s, the town was a simple trading post that eventually faded into a ghost town by 1970. That's when a local rancher and folk hero named Hondo Crouch bought the entire town for $30,000. He and his pals jokingly seceded from the Union, establishing a free state with no laws, just a dance hall, a general store, and a bar. For a while, the mayor was, in fact, a goat. The prank cemented Luckenbach's reputation as a place that plays by its own rules. Today, that legacy is alive and well. It's a pilgrimage site for country music fans, where jam sessions can break out at any moment, and the motto is, everybody's somebody in Luckenbach. For our next stop, we have to head way out west, 3 hours from El Paso into the vast Chihuahuan Desert. Here, at number 9, we find Marfa, a town wrapped in a permanent mystery. Since the 1880s, people have reported seeing strange, unexplained lights dancing on the horizon. They flicker, they zip around, they split apart, and then they vanish. They're known as the Marfa lights. So, are they UFOs, ghosts of Spanish conquistadors, or just atmospheric reflections of car headlights? Nobody knows for sure. Scientists have been trying to explain them for over a century, but every theory seems to have a hole in it. The phenomenon got so popular that an official Marfa Lights viewing area was built 9 miles from town, where people gather every night, hoping for a show. But the lights are just the beginning of Marfa's weirdness. This tiny, isolated town has also become a global hub for minimalist art, complete with a permanently closed fake Prada store standing alone in the desert. It's a place where cowboy culture meets high art, and where every night, the desert might just put on a light show that nobody can explain. Driving south from Marfa, even deeper into the desert near Big Bend National Park, we hit our number 8 spot, Terlingua. Now, this isn't your average ghost town. It's a ghost town that decided to throw a party and just never let it end. In the early 1900s, Terlingua was a booming mining town. But when the mercury market crashed after World War II, it was abandoned almost overnight. The ruins were left to crumble until the 1960s, when a new wave of people showed up, artists, river guides, and hippies looking to get away from it all. They didn't rebuild the town, they just moved into the ruins. They turned old miners' shacks into homes and the abandoned movie theater into the now famous Starlight Theater, a restaurant and bar that acts as the town's living room. Today, Terlingua is home to about 200 deliberate eccentrics who prefer living 80 miles from the nearest city. It's a place where history isn't just preserved, it's literally inhabited. Next up on our journey, at number 7, is a ghost town with a price tag. Welcome to Lobo, a tiny, abandoned settlement in the West Texas desert that was recently sold for around $100,000. Founded in the 1880s as a railroad stop, Lobo boomed and busted, and by 1991 the last residents were gone. Then, in 2001, a group of friends from Germany bought the 10-acre town and started using it as a quirky vacation spot and a venue for art festivals. But after 2 decades, they put it up for sale in 2023, admitting they were getting too old for the project. The sale attracted wild proposals from all over the world, including plans for a kangaroo farm and a giant escape room. A couple from Corpus Christi ended up buying it, falling in love with its desolate charm. Today, Lobo remains a collection of beautifully decaying buildings, A private piece of the Weird West waiting for its next chapter? Heading east, just north of Houston, we arrive at number 6, a town with a name that sounds like a threat: Cut and Shoot. The story behind it is about as Texas as it gets. The legend dates to 1912, when the community was arguing over the design of a new church steeple. Tensions got so high at a town meeting that things nearly turned violent. As the story goes, a young boy caught in the middle of the drama declared he was going to cut around the corner and shoot through the bushes if a fight broke out. The phrase stuck. When it came time to officially name the town, Cut and Shoot was the unforgettable choice. Unlike a lot of our stops, Cut and Shoot is very much alive, with over 1,000 residents who have fully embraced their Wild West name. It's a place born from a moment of pure Texas conflict, proving that sometimes the weirdest stories are the ones that are absolutely true. We're only halfway through our countdown, and believe me, it's just getting weirder. If you're enjoying this trip into the bizarre heart of Texas, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You really won't want to miss what's coming up next. Now for number 5, we're visiting a place where the land itself is the mystery: Medicine Mound. The town is named for 4 cone-shaped hills that rise dramatically from the plains. For centuries, these mounds were sacred to the Comanche people, who believed powerful spirits lived within them and that the local herbs had healing properties. A town popped up near these hills in the early 1900s, but its success was short-lived. A massive fire in 1932 wiped out most of the businesses, and by the 1950s it was practically a ghost town. Today, fewer than 50 people live in the area. All that's left are the ruins of old cobblestone buildings, standing in the shadow of the ancient mounds. There's a definite feeling here, a sense that the town was just a temporary guest on land that holds a much older, deeper power. At number 4, we find the tragic ghost of a town that was supposed to be great: Belle Plaine. Founded in 1876, this was meant to be a center of culture and education on the frontier. It was home to Belle Plaine College, a respected school famous for its music department, which had its own orchestra and 12 grand pianos. For a moment, it was one of the most promising towns in West Texas, but it was hit with a 1-2 punch it couldn't recover from. First, a severe drought crippled the community. Then, the Texas and Pacific Railway chose to build its tracks through the nearby town of Baird, bypassing Belle Plaine completely. The town's fate was sealed. The college closed in 1892, and the post office followed. Today, all that's left are the skeletal stone ruins of the college, slowly being reclaimed by nature on private land. A haunting monument to a dream the desert couldn't sustain. Our number 3 spot takes us to the Texas-Louisiana border, to a place with a name as mysterious as its surroundings: Uncertain. Nestled on the shores of Caddo Lake, this town exists in a world that feels prehistoric. Caddo Lake is a labyrinth of bayous and swamps, filled with ancient cypress trees dripping in Spanish moss. It's a landscape that is both hauntingly beautiful and totally alien. The origin of the town's name is, you guessed it, uncertain. One story says it came from steamboat captains who found mooring their boats uncertain in the fluctuating water. Another legend claims the name came from confusion over whether the land belonged to the U.S. or the Republic of Texas. Whatever the true story, the name perfectly captures the town's mysterious vibe. It's a place where you can easily get lost in the misty, Blackwater maze, surrounded by the ghosts of a time long past. For our runner-up, we head back to the barren landscape of the Permian Basin to a town whose name is just brutally honest. Number 2 is No Trees. This unincorporated community is exactly what it sounds like. According to local lore, the area had exactly 1 tree, which was unceremoniously bulldozed to make way for a Shell oil plant in the 1930s. When the first postmaster, a man named Charlie Brown, had to name the town in 1946, he chose the most descriptive name possible: No Trees. The town thrived during the oil booms, but when the industry busted, the population plummeted. Today, only about 23 people are estimated to live there. The town stands as a stark monument to the boom and bust cycle of the oil industry, a place so defined by what it lacks that its very identity is a statement of emptiness. And finally, the number 1 weirdest place in Texas that doesn't feel real: isn't a single town, but a ghost lurking beneath the water. We return to Caddo Lake to uncover its darkest secret. In the 20th century, a series of dams built on the lake created the massive reservoir we see today. In the process, the rising water swallowed entire communities that once existed along the original shoreline. For decades, the history of these places lay hidden. But during severe droughts, when the lake's water level drops dramatically, the past begins to re-emerge. The most chilling sight? The tombstones. From the murky lakebed, weathered gravestones poke through the surface, marking the locations of cemeteries that were flooded over. Imagine floating through this otherworldly cypress maze and suddenly realizing you're in a graveyard that has risen from the water. It's the absolute peak of Texas weirdness, a place where nature, history, and a touch of the supernatural collide to create a scene that is beautiful, haunting, and completely unreal. From a three-person town to a graveyard at the bottom of a lake, Texas is hiding secrets that are wilder than you can imagine. These places prove that just beneath the surface of the Lone Star State, there's a current of pure weirdness, a collection of stories and communities that just don't have a simple explanation. They're the parts of Texas that feel like a dream, or maybe a nightmare, but you can actually go and see them for yourself. Which one of these towns are you adding to your road trip list? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed our journey into the weird heart of Texas, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more adventures into the most unbelievable places on Earth. Until next time, stay curious.